Hello everyone, today I'm gonna talk about how my uncle dies. So he probably dies 2 or 3 days ago from this moment right now. And he dies when it's 4 o'clock in the morning. He dies when he sleeps. And he's my dad's little brother, also my uncle's dad. Let me see. So he probably dies from drunk. He always drunk. He always drinking alcohol, and he drink from bottle to bottle. He always talk to my grandmother a different ways, like from the child to mother, and he always talking like a special ways to his child. Like my cousin, he have this, like my cousin have a special hairs, and that hairs is like this long. My cousin is a boy and he's very handsome. He has a long hairs that goes this around it, like a mushroom hair. And my uncle is always put his hands on my on my cousin's hairs and always pull it out, like friends to friends, not dad to son. It probably hurt my cousin so much, and he's probably a little happy because his dad died, because he can have his freedom back. My uncle is like really before my grandfather died 3 years ago. He's a good dad, he a good uncle. He always buy lollipop, always buy sweets for us. He a good uncle, a good dad, a good child, a good brothers. He always give everyone the things that they want, like not always, usually. He often give the things that his relate want, and it probably hurts me so much because after hearing the news 2 days ago, that's bad, I'm sleep right in this room, as this very bad, and I'm sleep here. My grandmother sits beside me, and then I'm really sleepy that time. One eyes open, one eyes closed, and it's probably I'm not hearing anything that moment because I'm really sleepy. And I think that in my mind that my grandmother sit beside me, because my mother goes to work early, and she came here to wake me up, make me breakfast to go to school. But it's just 4:45 a.m. in the morning, and she sits beside me, and she crying like your uncle's died. She just crying, and then I'm not believe her, and then I'm go downstairs. Brush my tooth, wash my face, comb my hair, change to uniforms from school, and go to the living room, and I heard she calling someone, and she crying. Uncles died. Your uncles is died, and that time I was so shocked. I was like, he died, and then I goes to my grandmother, and I said to her, my uncle is really died to his grandma, and my mother's just no my grandmother is just crying so hard, and like she not saying anything. She like, yes, your uncle is dead. And I was shocking by that time, and I don't know how to imagine. I don't know how to describe it. What I feel like when I'm at that moment, and I crying. I'm not saying anything. I'm just crying. The tears went down my cheeks so hard, and I feel like it can almost ruin my whole face, and all my whole face have water from my tears, and it really hurt me so much to hear that news. And I'm sit like a statue for half an hour, and I'm imagining that I have to go to school, but my mom called back to me. She said that I don't have to go to school today because my uncle died, and I have to go to the funeral with my mother and my father, because I'm my uncle's niece, and I have to go to his funeral. He's just 39. He just 39. He was born in 1985, and he just 39. He left behind a 13-year-old son. He left behind a 13-year-old son, a special son of him, the only son of his, and he left him behind. And I'm not going to his funeral for the half of the day because I have to stay home and watch my grandmother, because she have cancer last stage, and everyone thinks she's gonna die before everyone else, but no. She is a dragon. She is a dragon, and next year is gonna be her years. And she thinks that next year she would die, or this year she would die. But no, my uncle died because he have nothing to worry about. He have nothing else in his life, so he dies for my grandmother. And my grandmother has cancer last day. My grandfather died 3 years ago for the same reason that my uncles died. They always drunk. The same reason they died. My grandfather also has last stage cancer too, so that's probably the reason he died. And my grandmother has last stage cancer too. And like, I feel like they always left behind a child. Like my cousins do not have a mother. His mother left him when he was 2, and he have my grandmother, my grandfather, and his dad. Also my dad's little brother, and like he just have three people left he can rely on for the 13 years of his life. And when he was like in grade 3, I was in grade 1. My grandfather died, and now he was in grade 8. I was in grade 6. My uncles died. I don't know how to describe that feeling, because losing someone from 3 years ago, and then losing someone after 3 years, and I feel like I lost parts of my body, and I don't know how I feel about that, because I feel like I'm really lucky because I still have my dad, my mom, my grandparents. But my cousins just lost his dad, and he just have my grandmother. I don't know how to walk in his shoes. Like, I feel it's really hurt. For me, it hurts so much. Like, I'm his niece, but I'm hurt so much more than a child that's from his own. And I don't know what's that feelings of my cousins when he died, and it really like hurt my feelings to see my cousins cried so hard. It's probably the worst day of my life. Like, I have to watch my grandmother, and I don't know how many times my cousin cried when he was at my grandmother's house. And like, I have to watch my grandmother because she had last stage cancer, and she can't moving around the house with a died person in her house, so she had to stay at my house. And in the afternoon, I go to his funeral. The next day, I go to burn his skin, and then have only the bones to dug into the dirt. So after going for 1 hour's driving from Nam Định to Ninh Bình, no, from Nam Định to Yên Khánh. Probably Yên Khánh is the place I stay, and Nam Định is the place that where he's burned his skin and bones there. When I don't know how to describe it. I just call it the things. When the things closed down to burn his skin, I cry so hard, like a children just fall down from the bed to the ground, and I cried so hard. I don't know how to describe it, but my father's hold it on. He not having any tears in his face, like he hold it on so hard. But I can still see in his eyes that it was red, and it was tears in there, waters in there. When after the finish of it, it was 133, 132, and there was a yellow spider. You always see a black spiders, right? But now my family saw a yellow spiders, and it's strange. That's the best luck, because yellow is really, it's not often appears in everyone's face, and now it's crawling around my uncle short t-shirt in his bone. Like the spiders crawling around his shorts, and then it appears, and when it's nearly the place that my family dug my uncle's there, the spiders crawl inside the shorts, and everyone demanded that it was my uncle, because it's not always appears on everyone's funeral. It's just appear on my uncle, so it's a sign of a good luck. And I cried so hard after digging him into the dirt. And now I'm just, my feelings is a little better now, because it's past his funeral, and my grandmother too, when she heard that my uncle was dying, she cried so hard, not smiling, not eating anything, not talking hard, not talking much to anyone, but now she talking, laughing, and everyone. After my uncle died, everyone says they had a nightmare from my uncle. Like, he always calling everyone, but not going into, not going near to them, just standing far away and calling their names, but me and my mother's probably not having any nightmare from it. So I'm just feeling really strange. 3 years ago, my grandfather died and everyone says they had a nightmare too, but I'm not grandfathers and uncle, I'm not having any nightmare. So it's really strange with me for that feelings. So that's all for the topic that my uncle died. Thanks for watching. Bye.